Hey, beautiful people. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Hope you're feeling good. Hope you're feeling great. If not, it's okay. This too shall pass, and I'm sending extra, extra love and light your way. I just wanted to share a download that I got real quick. Hopefully, you can hear me because I don't have my headphones on. So, anyways, but the download that I got is to look at things with your spiritual eyes instead of your emotional eyes or your quote unquote human eyes. Because it's like everything that we go through, there's a lesson behind it, right? And that's what you're being called to kind of shift the way that you see things, right? And you're being called to see it through the lens of your spiritual eyes. So when we go through something, instead of kind of taking the victim stance, right? Which is, it's easy to do that, right? Instead of doing that, it's like, you're being called to take the higher road and to, instead of looking at it, like I said, from a victim standpoint, you're being called to look at it with your spiritual eyes. So, ask yourself, why, ask God. Ask yourself, ask God, why am I going through this? What was the lesson? Because everything is a lesson, y'all. We're spiritual beings having a physical experience. That's why nobody lives forever. Nobody lives forever. At some point, everybody is going to be out of this physical body that we're in at some point, right? It's but the light that's within us, the spark that's within us, right? That it will live on. It lives on. It never dies. So we take on this form, human form, right? In this reality, in order to go through certain things, experience certain things, to broaden our perspectives, to heal our souls, right? So for some of y'all, let's say for example, like if in this lifetime the main focus is for you to learn self-love, right? This is what this is the this is what you're meant to take with you once you leave this earth, right? In this lifetime, that's what you're supposed to take with you, self-love. That's the mission. So, but this is a 3D world, so we're going to have to experience things that push us into that energy, and unfortunately, a lot of times it's negative things. So someone who's on the path for self-love, unfortunately, they're going to encounter people who don't love them, or people who don't treat them well. You know what I'm saying? And it, some people may feel like this is a punishment. And not to say it's punishment, but for some, we could just be paying back karmic debt and we're not aware of it, right? We all got karma to pay. So, anyways, so you know, instead of looking at an experience, for example, like if someone could have, let's say someone was in a relationship or a marriage for a long time, like, you know, and it ended, the person could look at it and say, oh, why I wasted all these years, I wasted all this time, I wasted all this money, blah blah blah, right? That's one way to look at it, and not to say that's not that person's truth, right? But at some point, you have to evolve past that point of view, right? It's look with your spiritual eyes. Yes, this is what you invest in this person, but what lessons did you learn during the course of that relationship? And that's just not relationships. It's for like jobs too. Like, what lessons did you learn when you were working at this job? What lesson do you learn? Because at the end of the day, it's all lessons. There's a spiritual lesson in everything that we go through. And if we can see things through those eyes, it's easier for us to move past it, because we know, like, okay, this was a lesson for me. I went through this lesson. If you pass a lesson, you're not going to have to take it again, and you could move on. So you don't have to stay in that victim mindset, because you know that this particular experience with this person, right, or these people or whatever, this was meant to pull something out of you, right? And for some of y'all, like I said, if you on a journey of learning self-love, you know what you're learning, right, is to choose yourself. That's what self-love is, right? So in this journey, you know, for some of y'all, God will use people as puppets, right? We're all God's puppets. We have free will, of course, but God is still in control. We have free will in God's world. He's still in control. So God uses people and situations to teach us these lessons. And it may be in the form of, you know, somebody cheating, somebody betraying somebody hurting somebody crossing somebody, whatever it is. But the point of that happening is so that you can choose yourself. And sometimes God will use the people that are closest to us to do it, right? Because that puts us in a sensitive space, right? Because it's like, you're like, oh, well, you know, I care about this person. I had all these years with this person, blah, blah, blah. But then again, it's like, what about yourself? So, but that's the test. That's the test. And you already have the answer to the test. The answer is you have to choose yourself. Even when it makes other people mad. Even when it causes people to come against you. Even when it, you know, like I said, make people feel some type of way. You got to choose yourself every single time. That's the test. That's the answer. And the thing is, if you don't pass the test, you're going to keep taking it. God is going to keep sending people along your path who don't value you, or keep sending situations along the path to show you that you need to choose yourself over this person because that situation is not good for you, or that person is not good for you for whatever reason. And you don't owe anyone an explanation as to what that reason is. We all, well, let me take that back. I'm not going to say we all, but at least some of us, we have certain principles and values that we make decisions by, that we live by. So we got to follow that, and not people please, because if we don't follow that, right, then we're going to be unhappy inside. And that's what happens with a lot of people. They're unaware of their personal principles and values, right? They're not aware of it. But that's part of the self-love journey, is to make them aware, right? Because it's like, okay, if you go through this experience, this broke your heart, this hurts you, so what does that mean? It means loyalty is important to you, right? It means authenticity is important to you. So it's like, through these experiences, it's like, it's, I don't know why life is like that, but that's how God set it up. It's like we have to go through the bad first. And I guess so we can appreciate the good, right? I guess. But it's like, yeah, we got to go through negative things sometimes to make us realize what it is that we actually want. So, anyways, I feel like I've been rambling on too much. So, I hope this helped in some type of way. Like I say, y'all, look at things with your spiritual eyes. Whenever you start getting into that victim mode, start trying to put the patterns together. Start paying attention to the things that have occurred, or the things that's going on now. If you start paying attention, you'll be able to notice patterns, right? Because like I said, it's all lessons. And if you don't know, I just ask. Just be like, God, what are you trying to teach me? What lesson am I learning right now? Because the quicker that you become aware, then the quicker that you can take control over your actions, your thoughts. So, anyways, hope this helped in some type of way. Y'all stay blessed up, stay prayed up, and I'll catch you in another video. Peace, love, and light.